Since its release in late 2020, lots of tubers have compared the Shure MV7 to the legendary Shure SM7B. The MV7 looks like the SM7B's dorky little brother, but do they sound anything alike? How much are you missing out on if you decide to save $150 and get the MV7 over the SM7B? Or is the MV7 actually better? Stick around for the battle of the Shure MV7 versus the Shure SM7B. Surely a video you won't want to miss. Surely my last mic comparison for a while because I cannot keep funding my YouTube channel with my credit card. So I'm going to try to keep this one short and sweet and give you a direct comparison between the Shure SM7B and the Shure MV7. Just to go over how we're doing this video, I'm recording both simultaneously through the Rodecaster Pro and into Adobe Audition. In the Rodecaster Pro, I don't have any effects processing enabled. And for the Shure SM7B, I have the gain set to 53 dB, which is just too shy of the maximum level. And on the MV7, I have the gain set to 45. So quite a big difference in the required gain to power these two microphones. So there's something to take into consideration right off the bat. I'll be switching back and forth between the two mics throughout the video, so just check the lower thirds to see which mic you are currently listening to. I will throw in an audio clip recorded with my wife so that all the ladies out there can get an idea of how these mics might sound for their nicer voices. The MV7 does add a couple of unique twists and features that the SM7B doesn't have. So you can record it over XLR like I'm doing here, but you can also record it via USB. So it's pretty much a plug-and-play microphone. If you don't want to run it through an audio interface, you can just buy the MV7, plug in the included USB cable right into your computer, and open up whatever software you want to record to, and you're good to go. All you're going to need is some kind of stand. So the MV7 being a little bit cheaper is actually much cheaper when you take into account that you don't really need anything else to get up and running or up and recording with the MV7. However, in this video, I'm not going to really worry about the USB functionality of the MV7. I've already done another video that dives pretty deeply into all that functionality, and I really wanted to just keep this video as a direct XLR audio comparison between these two microphones, just so you can hear how they both sound. If all of that USB functionality is important to you, then the comparison really doesn't matter. You should just get the MV7. On the SM7B, you also have some mechanical switches on the bottom of the microphone to change the frequency response. I have it in the flat mode, and I'm going to keep it there for this video and just have both mics in their kind of like basic configuration. But you can enable a high-pass filter, which will cut out some low frequencies, and you can also enable a presence boost, which will increase some higher frequencies. You can't do anything like that on the physical mic of the MV7, but if you are running over USB, you can download the Shure Plus Motive app and gives you some of those same functions in software. So in this video, we're just comparing the sound quality between both mics, and that test is being done throughout the video. You can just listen to them and decide which one you think sounds better. I am trying to be as fair as possible and just split the difference and talk kind of between both microphones from the same distance. As you may be able to see from this camera, hey, I have them as, lined up as pretty equidistant for me as I can. Anyway, let's go ahead and start with the explosive plosive tests, and we'll go ahead and do the MV7 first. What am I going to say? Peter Parker popped some popcorn and ate it. Peter Parker popped some popcorn and ate it. Peter Parker popped some popcorn and he ate it. And now for the SM7B. Peter Parker popped some popcorn. Peter Parker popped some popcorn. Peter Parker popped some popcorn. And now let's compare the proximity effect, or how both microphones sound when you are ingesting the foam windscreen and probably getting cancer. Starting with the MV7, this is how the MV7 sounds when my nose, which is quite large, is resting on top of the foam windscreen of the Shure MV7. I hope that wasn't too loud. This is how the Shure SM7B sounds when my rather bulbous nose is resting on top of the windscreen and my lips are tickling the front in a very sensual manner. Hopefully that wasn't too loud. So that was the proximity effect. Which microphone sounds better when you are licking them? It's a very important question. Now let's do some off-axis rejection comparisons, starting with the MV7. Obviously, this is what it sounds like when you talk into the front of it, and I'll try to do this without making too much racket. This is what it sounds like when you talk into the side of the MV7 if for some reason you forgot which way you were supposed to talk to the microphone. And now this is what it sounds like when you talk to the back of the MV7. And then if you actually get some slack here, if you talk directly into the back of the MV7, this is what it sounds like. Moving on to the SM7B, this is what it sounds like talking to the front of the SM7B. And rotating around to the side, this is what it sounds like talking to the side of the microphone. If for some reason that's something you want to do. Rotating around to the back, this is what it sounds like if you talk into the back of the SM7B, because you just like to read the Shure logo while you do your podcast. Now we'll just go back around to the side of the SM7B and finally to the front of the SM7B, which is where you probably want to talk into this microphone. All right, lastly, let's go ahead and do some handling noise. Which one sounds worse when you touch it or bump into the desk or do crazy stuff while you're recording your podcast? Starting with the MV7, I'm tapping on the MV7. How does that sound? Go ahead and tap on the yoke of the MV7 if you just wanted to just do this and drive your listeners crazy. Wouldn't be nice, but that's how it would sound. Tapping on the stand that the MV7 is on is what it sounds like. And then tapping on the desk of in which the MV7 is resting on which, not in which, it's on the desk. Okay, moving over to the SM7B, we are tapping on the microphone. This is what it sounds like to tap on the SM7B. Now we are tapping on the yoke of the SM7B, and this is what it sounds like. Tapping on the stand, which is holding up the rather lovely SM7B. And now tapping on the desk on which the SM7B is resting. This is how it sounds. Amazing. Oh, and bonus test. Let's go ahead and just type on some keys while we talk. If you wanted to do a podcast and for some reason you like to type during your podcast like a crazy person, this is what it will sound like. So these are Cherry MX Brown switches. So not the loudest switch in the world, but definitely not the quietest. And if you wanted to type and talk at the same time, like an a-hole, this is what it would sound like.
She was well named Sin, Foul Witch, and Raving Beauty, beloved of Sasso, the dark power striving to capture, with her help, a lovely little world. Their only fear was a whispered legend, Elvden the Savior. But this crippled idiot, blundering through a shower of sparks into their time and space, he could not be Elvden.
I also wanted to give you a comparison between the two microphones using a Cloudlifter so you can hear how the Cloudlifter may change the tone, but also give you an idea of how much gain is needed if you pair these microphones with the Cloudlifter. So starting with the SM7B, I have it running through the Cloudlifter now, and I was able to drop the levels by 18 decibels. So we're now at 35 dB on the SM7B and the Cloudlifter, so quite a big difference there. She was well named, Sin, Foul Witch, and Raving Beauty, beloved, is it beloved or beloved? Beloved of Sasso, the dark power striving to capture, with her help, a lovely little world. Their only fear was a whispered legend, Elveden, the savior. But this crippled idiot blundering through a shower of sparks into their time and space, he could not be Elveden. All right, so now to test the Shure MV7 running through the Cloudlifter, I was able to turn the gain down all the way to 23 dB. Pretty awesome. Okay, so let's go ahead and read this thing here. She was well named, Sin, Foul Witch, and Raving Beauty, beloved of Sasso, the dark power striving to capture, with her help, a lovely little world. Their only fear was a whispered legend, Elveden, the savior. But this crippled idiot blundering through a shower of sparks into their time and space, he could not be Elveden. That was better. I did it better the second time. Well, that's pretty much it. I hope that was helpful for you. If you learned something and found some value out of this video, feel free to give it a like. If you thought it sucked, go ahead and hit the dislike button twice. And if you did like this video, consider subscribing. That would be awesome. And also maybe watch one of these other videos that I've done. Maybe they're about microphones or camera lenses or something. Well, anyway, hope that was helpful. Hope you enjoyed yourself. And we'll see you in another video.
He could not be Elvden.
It's Sin, not Sue.
Well, I'm not wearing my glasses, so that Sin looks like a S-I-U.
more time. Do you want your glasses?
They're all the way downstairs.
I'll get them for you.
She was well named. Sue, foul witch and raving beauty, beloved of Sasso. He could not be Elvden.
Oh, that was great. That was good.
Are you making fun of me?
No, you got into it because I know you like the sci-fi stuff. Can you do a little bit further away this time?
Oh my god.
I just need options, that's all.